Hey everyone, and welcome to What Did I Miss, where today I'll be going over the current state of the Seth Macfarlane-led sci-fi series The Orville, and when we can expect to see the third season of the series. It has been almost 2 years since the last episode of the second season aired, but fans are still excited to see what is next for Captain Mercer and the rest of the crew. 5 episodes of the third season were said to be mostly complete before the show's production went on hiatus for close to a year due to the COVID crisis, so we do know quite a lot about the next season, including a new cast member, as well as some episode titles. Since the last show aired, a lot has happened, such as the studio producing the series has changed, as the third season is now confirmed to air on Hulu instead of Fox, and I will catch you up on all the goings on with the series since the last show aired here. And just for being a supporter of the channel, I will end this video with a story about a big influence on the Orville and its captain Seth Macfarlane, Captain Kirk himself William Shatner, and his efforts to immortalize himself on his recent 90th birthday. If you do like the Orville and other sci-fi series like Star Trek, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on any of my video. In this video, I will go over all the news and updates that have been released about the third season, as well as where we left the crew and what we can expect to see in the new season. This is always more fun when I hear from you, so let me know in the comments if you are still interested in this series and what you would like to see in the third season. I was a fan of both seasons of the Orville, but I definitely think they hit their stride in the second season when they started to concentrate more on dramatic plot lines rather than always trying to work in a joke. In fact, I think the final 2 episodes of the second season, Tomorrow, 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 and The Road Not Taken, are my 2 favorites of the entire series. If you don't recall what happened, the episodes were basically a 2-part story in which a younger version of First Officer Kelly Grayson traveled to the present time of the Orville, and after seeing how her life was affected by a relationship with Ed Mercer, decided not to continue a relationship with him upon her return to her own time. This caused a tremendous butterfly effect that completely changed the present timeline, and the crew was now subjugated by the Kaylon, a race of artificial beings of which one of the crew of the Orville, Isaac, is a member of. The last episode of the season ended in the past, as if the crew's plans did work and the timeline was restored, but the writers have said that the season would address the events of these episodes, so not all may be the same when we see the crew again. Before we get into what possible storylines and adventures the crew will be facing this season, let's look at what has happened since the show was last on the air. As we all know, 20th Century Fox was bought by Disney, and since then the mega company has been working on plans for all of its new properties. Orville is also forever complicated by the involvement of Seth MacFarlane and his responsibility to his most popular creation, the animated series Family Guy. While both Family Guy and the Orville are produced by the same studio, working as the executive producer and star of 2 shows obviously has its limits, and since Family Guy is still more popular than the Orville, that show seems to get priority. So even though a third season of Orville was announced just around the same time the second season ended, it was already going to be partially delayed thanks to MacFarlane's commitments to Family Guy. The series was also renewed rather late, as usually shows are renewed towards the beginning of their current season so that producers can begin development on the next season, but because of the late renewal, that did not happen until 2019. Well, then the studio was sold to Disney, and there were rumors that the show would actually be canceled after this purchase, but instead the series would move from the Fox channel to the Hulu streaming service, which is geared towards more mature content. I for one was very happy when I heard this, because I think that now that the Orville is not on network TV, they do not have to play by as many rules, and the show can do things now that they cannot do before. The series went into production in late 2019 and was able to mostly film 5 episodes, which is almost half of the planned 11-episode third season. Because of this, the crew is now referring to the second part of the season as season 3.5, and the plan is to release the series weekly by the end of 2021. While there are a few less episodes, these episodes should be longer, so in the end we may just get about the same amount of content. As far as what we can expect from the third season, Seth MacFarlane has said that the events of the 2-part episode Identity that saw the Orville and the Planetary Union almost destroyed by the Kaylon would weigh heavy on this season as well. The religious alien race known as the Krill, who were seen as the enemies of the Planetary Union for most of the series, surprisingly came to the help of the Union in their darkest hour. So I'm sure this season will deal with the fleet building itself back up after the battle, as well as them seeking a new alliance with the Krill. When the show started, the Orville was billed as a ship that was not very important to the Union, and certainly not the flagship of the organization like the Enterprise is for Starfleet. But now, given the events of last season, and that a good portion of the fleet has been destroyed, we could see Captain Mercer and the crew taking up a bigger role in this future. Another interesting change is that this third season will be produced and directed solely by Seth MacFarlane and executive producer John Kazer, instead of having guest directors like they have in prior seasons, like Star Trek veteran Jonathan Frakes. As far as the crew goes, everyone is set to return, and there's even a new cast member announced, and that is Charlie Burke, played by Ann Winters. The character's name almost seems like a tongue-in-cheek reference to the character Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery, as Charlie is usually a male name and Burke sounds an awful lot like Burnham. She will take up the position of helmsman that was occupied by John Lamar, but he has since transferred to be chief engineer of the ship. It will also be interesting to see how the crew reacts to Isaac, as they did reactivate him at the end of Identity, but I'm sure that he will have a hard time finding anyone that will trust him. Another interesting storyline detail that was released is that there was an episode that did not make it into the second season that will be produced for the third that has to do with a revelation in the past of Dr. Finn that will put her at odds with the crew. Given the current state of Isaac and her boy's relationship with him, I can foresee a redemption story for both of them intersecting in the third season. Speaking of storylines, as I said, 5 episodes of the third season are reportedly all but done, and in fact, we even know the names of these episodes. The first episode of the season has the title Electric Sheep, which is a not-so-subtle reference to the famous story by Philip K. Dick, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?, of which the movie Blade Runner was based on. The episode may deal with the Planetary Union's response to Isaac and the Kaylon and may want the android retired. Or it could deal with the sentience of artificial life forms and what rights they have. Given the show's affinity for the stories and aesthetics of Star Trek, specifically The Next Generation, I wouldn't be surprised if this is an episode similar to the storied TNG episode Measure of a Man, in which Captain Picard is asked to prove that Data, an android, has the right to control his existence. The next 2 episodes listed are named Shadow Realms and Morality Paradox, which do not tell us much from the titles, but probably have to do with the fallout of the Kaylon invasion. But the 4th episode, titled Gently Falling Rain, makes me believe that this is a reference to the movie Blade Runner and specifically the Tears in the Rain speech given by Rutger Hauer in said movie. There is also a Krill security guard listed in the credits, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is the culmination of the plotline started in Identity and sees the Union move forward from this disaster. The final episode title listed is the 5th episode, and that is A Tale of Two Topaz. If you do not recall, Topa is the name of the child of Bortus and Clyden, and the child was born female, but then had surgery performed to change them to male, based on the tradition of their race. It was discovered, however, in Season 2 that there were female Moclans, and I'm guessing that this episode will deal with Topa having been born a different gender and coping with the 2 worlds that now live inside them. Well, that's everything I could find about Season 3 of The Orville, but I did promise you a story about William Shatner. The star of stage and screen recently celebrated his 90th birthday, and in true Needs of the Many fashion, Shatner announced that he is lending his lifetime to artificial intelligence. That's right, Captain Kirk may in fact end up being immortal, as Shatner has stored his thoughts through an interactive artificial intelligence video made by technology firm Storyfile. Shatner was quoted as saying the following about the experience: "This is for all my children, and all my children's children, and all my children's loved ones, and all the loved ones of the loved ones. That's my gift to you down through time." Sorry, I always have to do my Shatner impression. The company's Storyfile captures conversations by using its proprietary technology Conversa, which applies natural language processing and its patented artificially intelligent interactive memory system. The company's founder said the following: "William Shatner is going where no one has gone before. Generations in the future will be able to have a conversation with him. Not an avatar, not a deepfake, but with the real William Shatner answering their questions about his life and work. This changes the trajectory of the future, or how we experience life today, and how we share those lessons and stories for generations to come. I don't think they are close to the positronic brain yet, so this may end up more like Max Headroom than Data. But if I were Seth MacFarlane, I would use this as a plot device in Orville and show that this tech is what led to the development of the Kaylon. I mean, how ironic would it be that the actor who played arguably the galaxy's biggest champion would end up being the harbinger of its ultimate fate? Well, that is everything I could find on the current state of the Orville, but you let me know, what did I miss? How excited are you for the 3rd season? I will continue to post updates on the Orville and Star Trek, as well as other sci-fi properties, so make sure you subscribe so that you do not miss any. I also want to announce that I'm running a contest until April 30th, 2021, and 2 supporters of the channel are going to get these limited edition Captain Kirk Funko Pops. On May 1st, I will pick 1 random commenter that is a subscriber, and 1 who has joined the new WDIM Discord server. So all you have to do to be entered is to be a subscriber to this channel and comment on a video from now until April 30th, 2021, and you can join the Discord server and be entered there as well. This gives everyone a lot of chances to win, and if we get 50 people to join the Discord server, I will add another Funko Pop to the prize. And just letting you know, there are I think 2 people there right now, so if you join, you could have a 1 out of 3 chance of winning this prize. Thank you for clicking on this video. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time on What Did I Miss?